Hey friends, it is Carly. Welcome back to my kitchen. So tonight I am doing a pasta dish. Why? Because pasta is delicious. Sorry, but it is. Sorry for all you carb watchers. We're not watching our carbs today. But this pasta dish is perfect for summertime. It has tons of vegetables. So if you can get past the fact that we're going to be doing a little bit of pasta eating, you're going to see so many vegetables in here. And as far as I'm concerned, vegetables make everything healthy. I don't care if you cook them in a cheese sauce or, fry them. It's still vegetables, right? Still counts as healthy. So tonight I am making pasta Primavera with Gremolata. Oh my goodness, it's going to be absolutely amazing. There's going to be the Gremolata sauce, which we will prepare first, and then we will prepare the vegetables for the entire dish. This is what you are going to need. First of all, our pasta that we're working with today is angel hair pasta. You're going to want a long noodle, probably the thinner the noodle, the better. So I would go with angel hair. You're going to need a yellow squash. You can get one or two. I'm just going to go with one because there's so many vegetables in here. You're going to need one lemon. You're going to be using the zest and half of the juice. You're going to need a half of an onion or a small onion. This one's kind of a larger onion, so I'm only going to use half of it. Definitely going to want some cheese on this thing because pasta and cheese is like peanut butter and jelly, right? So this is Parmesan cheese. Get it in the block form. You save money overall and you don't have to eat all of those weird additives. You're going to need grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes would work as well. Garlic, my absolute favorite because I love garlic. I'm going to use 3 cloves today. You could use more, you could use less, or you could omit it, but why would you ever omit garlic? Because garlic is like life. You're going to need a bunch of asparagus. We are going to be putting this right into our pasta, along with so many of these other vegetables. You're going to need about a cup of arugula. Yeah, I said arugula. It sounds really bougie, doesn't it? But this actually comes in a lot of different salad mixes. So if you buy like the bagged mixes, this is actually in there. It's got kind of a little bit of a bitter flavor to it. Not unpleasant, but just a little bit of a different flavor than, say, spinach. Or lettuce or romaine or something like that. This is about a cup of parsley. If you have your herb garden rocking out on your back deck this summer, grab the parsley right off of it. And we are going to be using about a cup of that. And then today the recipe calls for olive oil. I am actually going to be using our garlic Parmesan oil. This stuff is amazing. We also have a basil infused olive oil. This is awesome for just like bread dipping. So if you make a beautiful loaf of homemade bread, kind of like they do in those really fancy Italian restaurants, and they dip the bread in the olive oil. Oh, holy cow. This is absolutely amazing. You can drizzle this right over roasted vegetables for like instantaneous flavor. It is absolutely delicious. So I'm going to be using this as well. And then you're going to need a little bit of water, about a cup and 3/4 of water, salt and pepper, obviously, to taste and to flavor all of the goodies that are going to be in this. So I'm going to be right back because we are going to start by prepping the Gremolata. Stay with me. All right, so we are going to start by making the Gremolata. Now, a Gremolata is a sauce that is going to flavor our pasta and all of those beautiful vegetables that are going into our dish. Now, this sauce is very herby. It's very herbaceous, let's say. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my zester and zest my lemon. Lemon zest, citrus zest, just in and of itself is amazing. So if you don't use the zest of your citrus, give it a shot. Put it in a salad dressing. Sprinkle it over top of like strawberry shortcake. It really brings out the flavor of like the strawberries in that. In fact, when I make strawberry shortcake, I will put a little bit of lemon zest and or orange zest right into that strawberry mixture because it's absolutely delicious. Now, you want to stop before you get to the white portion because that is the pith, and the pith is quite bitter. I mean, bitter is not horrible flavor. It's just not what we're going for. So now that I'm done with my zester, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna cut it in half, and I just want the juice of half of the lemon. So I'm gonna use the juicer portion of this. I love this thing because it actually has markings on the side, so you know exactly how much juice you are getting. And of course, if you work with, you know, juices and stuff like that from fresh vegetables and fresh citrus, you're going to get a better product every single time. There's just no denying that when you use fresh, and of course, like, I feel like I should use this for something, like it's such a perfect little like ice cream cone or something. So, but when you use fresh ingredients, you're always going to get a better flavor, period. It's hard not to, right? So now I am going to bring out this bad boy. This is, you've seen it in some of my other videos. This is the food processor portion of my Flex Plus multi-prep set. This thing has so many different functions. It's a lot of fun. It takes the place of so many other products that might be just taking up place in your storage cabinets and stuff. This obviously is a food processor, so that's what I'm going to be using it as, but it's also a hand mixer. It's also an immersion blender. It also chops and it shreds. It's got several plates that you can put into the food processor where you can shred your vegetables for salads. So it's incredibly versatile. So what I'm going to do essentially is just kind of put everything in here. This is my 1 cup of arugula. Again, arugula is something, if you get like a spring mix, you know, with lettuce and stuff like that for salads, arugula is usually in there. And if you ever hit just a thing of arugula, it's a little bit on the bitter-ish side. Like I said, the pith of the lemon can be bitter. It's not an unpleasant flavor. In fact, sometimes bitter is absolutely amazing. But we don't want that for our lemon. Now, I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of my garlic Parmesan oil. You know what I forgot to do was shake it up. If you can see, that's not going to be bad though. You can see in the bottom, see all those goodies? That's the Parmesan cheese. It does settle to the bottom because it would be like a physical impossibility for it not to. But when you drizzle this over your vegetables, or when you cook with it, or when you dip your bread in it or whatever, just make sure that you shake it prior to using it. Otherwise, you're gonna not get all of that amazing Parmesan-y, garlicky goodness that kind of hangs out here in the bottom of that. And we have garlic. I'm losing my mind here, but slowly but surely. I think it's been gone for a couple of years, but nobody told me. Now I'm going to press a couple of cloves of garlic right into this. Love my garlic press. I talk about my garlic press probably more than I should. It's like the tool that I use seriously almost all the time. I have multiples of the garlic press. I actually have multiples of several pieces of the our products, because I use them so much. And like, if you don't do the dishes one night and then you have to make dinner the next night, if you don't have multiples, then you kind of have to like use horrible products. And ain't nobody got time for horrible products, right? So no, you do not have to peel your garlic when you are using our garlic press. Just stick the entire clove of garlic right down in there and you are golden. So now I've got to line up my arrows here. So this is the food processor portion of it. Just going to push that down until it clicks and push it over. Now, this is fitted with the food processor blade. It's one of the many moving pieces that this product comes with. And now I'm going to put the power wand in the top. You'll notice that there are no cords. This is battery operated. So you will charge your battery prior to use. Out of one battery, you'll get about a half an hour of continual use. So it's not like, you pulsate something for 25 seconds and then, you're done. No, this thing goes and goes and goes. And you also get 2 battery packs, 2. So while you're using one, like canning or making jams or something like that, where you're going to be using this thing all day, have one on the charger, have one on here, and you'll have continuous use the entire time. Now, when I snap this in, that is going to light up. That is telling me, yes, you have power, sister. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push the safety lever right here. If I try to turn this thing on right now, it's not going to turn on because it doesn't want me to turn it on before I'm ready to use it. So what I need to do is put the power or the safety button off. I'm gonna adjust my speed and press power. Now this is just gonna do its work. You can see what it's doing. It is chopping and kind of emulsifying this into a sauce. We want it to be a sauce consistency. We don't want it to be too chunky. It's not supposed to be chunky. It's supposed to be nice and kind of not totally drizzleable because it's not that kind of a sauce, but we do want this to be down into a sauce consistency. Now, at this point of the game, this is the Gremolata. This is the sauce that I'm going to put to the side. If you look in there and it's not saucy enough, you can add a little bit of extra olive oil. Season this with salt and pepper. Scrape down the sides a little bit if your food processor is still, if it's still a little chunky in there. Otherwise, my Gremolata is finished. I'm going to put this to the side while I prep my vegetables, and then we get to put dinner all together on the stove. I'll be right back. I am back. It is time to prep our vegetables that are going to go into our beautiful pasta primavera. Now, some of the tools I have here just help with slicing and chopping really quickly. And then some of the other ones are just like the good old kitchen knife. I will say this again 1,000 times. If you don't have a good sharp kitchen knife, please get yourself a good sharp kitchen knife. What I am going to do right here is just take my grape tomatoes. You really only have to slice them in half, but mine happen to be pretty large. I mean, they're almost like baby Roma tomatoes or something. So I'm actually cutting them into fourths just with my Santoku knife. Now, if you have smaller Roma or smaller grape tomatoes or even cherry tomatoes, you might not need to cut them into fourths, but I don't want such a huge chunk of tomato in my mouth. So all I'm going to do now is chop my asparagus into thirds. Asparagus is awesome when it's nice and fresh and green. The way that you peel that end off is essentially you just break it, and wherever it breaks, that stalk on the other side is too chewy and too fibrous to eat. So that's kind of the natural place that you're going to want to break that off. Now I am going to use my Rapid Prep mandolin to take care of my squash here. This is my yellow squash. I just took the ends off of it. On the back here, I have set it to chop, so it's just a straight chop, and I set it to 6. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be too, I don't want it to be too thick, but I don't want it to be too thin. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. This is about the thickness I'm looking for. So, and again, when you are chopping things, you want things to be the same thickness as best you can. So if you're chopping this by hand, you want to make sure that you get equal thicknesses. Otherwise, you're going to get some vegetables that are overcooked. You're going to get some vegetables that are not cooked enough, and ain't nobody got time for that. So that is as easy as that is. And then, of course, we have half an onion that I'm going to chop now. And for that, I'm just going to use my food chopper. My food chopper is another staple in my kitchen. I use this thing all the time. It's perfect for chopping things like onions, and for people who have sensitive eyes like I do, and you have to chop onions and it takes you forever and your eyes are watering and all that kind of stuff. This takes 2 seconds. You can also take this all apart, put it right into the dishwasher. You are done. This entire thing, by the way, goes into the dishwasher. All of this is dishwasher safe. Make your life so much easier when you have to cook anyway, but then you have to clean up. Who has time for that, right? So this is all prepped. The next thing I'm gonna do is go over to the stove and start putting it together. Stay with me. Alrighty friends, here we are over at the stove. I am going to start by putting a little bit of oil into my pan. I love this little thing. So much fun. Drizzly, drizzly, drizzly. Isn't it cute? Now, I am just going to add the onions that we just chopped with my food chopper. You can hear that beautiful sizzle. That's like one of my favorite sounds in the entire world because it means that good food is coming, right? So this is just going to start cooking down. I am also going to add a little bit of pepper. This is not a real exact and precise measurement. This is just for flavor. Now, when you add your spices like that to a hot pan, just like that pepper is actually going to open up right in that hot pan and be more peppery because it is releasing all of the oils that are actually right in that pepper. So you'll notice if you are cooking in a hot skillet, if you put your seasonings right in that hot skillet, you'll notice that the smell, the aroma of that spice, whatever it happens to be that you are using, is going to be more pungent. It's going to really come through because that is that spice opening up. That is looking lovely. Now, I don't need to do too much. We don't need to caramelize them or anything. Just start to cook them down. The next thing I'm going to do is add those beautiful tomatoes. This is looking beautiful. I love the colors. There's so many beautiful colors that are going into this. You've probably heard, nutritionists or even your doctor say, make sure that you eat the rainbow. And I think this is pretty much what they're talking about. We've got the red of the tomatoes. We've got the green of the asparagus. We've got the yellow of the yellow squash. And then, of course, we've got all of that green that's going to be going in there when we add our gremolata. That is going to be absolutely fabulous. So this is going to cook down, but the next thing I'm going to do is actually add some water to my pan. If there's anything stuck on the pan at this point, if you have any, of that onion stuff or anything like that from the tomatoes, that's called fond, and that is going to come up. Now we've actually cooled the temperature of the pan quite a bit. So now you're not going to hear that sizzle, but what we are going to do is, you'll notice that I haven't done anything with my pasta yet. Now, we want 8 ounces of pasta, so I'm just going to kind of spread this around. Now, usually pasta will come in 16-ounce containers. If you have that, then just have it. I don't know about you, but I'm like horrible when it comes to cooking the right amount of pasta. Usually when I cook pasta, it ends up being like enough for an entire army. And then I end up with so many leftovers, it's absolutely ridiculous. So now I'm going to put my beautiful asparagus and just kind of spread it out a little bit. And then I'm going to take these and spread them out. This is our yellow squash. And of course we see that it's all sliced almost exactly the same thickness, which is perfect because we want this to steam. And cook all the same so we don't have yucky, mushy stuff. Now, for the last part of this, I'm just going to put the top onto my 12-inch skillet and let this simmer away. It's going to take a few minutes. Essentially what that water is doing in the bottom is that it's going to steam our vegetables while simultaneously cooking our pasta, so we don't have to do a separate dish to do our pasta. This is all going to be in one dish. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook down, and then as soon as the pasta is al dente and the vegetables are tender, I will bring you right back to show you what to do next. All right, friends, we are back. And I am just about to unleash this thing. Let's see what it looks like. Careful of the plume. Oh my goodness. Heck yes. That is what I'm talking about. Now, I have got my gremolata ready to go. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of wiggle this around a little bit. You'll see some of the pasta is a little stuck to each other. That's okay. It's not going to win, you understand. I always win. But isn't that beautiful? Look at all that color. And we're just about to add more color, so hang on to something. This is that gremolata. Now you'll notice that it's kind of almost like a paste at this point. So as you're doing it in your food processor, that is the consistency you're going for, because this is essentially going to be our our sauce. And this is going to coat all of those beautiful vegetables. It's going to coat all of that delicious angel hair pasta. And then now if you have a thicker noodle, you may need to cook it a little bit more. This would be a good time to put that cap right back on your pot and just let it simmer for a couple more minutes. So this is just about finished. I am going to finish just mixing this up and getting everything coated with that delicious sauce, and then I'll show you how to plate it up. Stay with me. All right, it is time to eat. I cannot wait. I did grab my chef's tongs so that I could toss this a little bit more in my gremolata. So what I'm going to do now is take a nice little tongful of that gremolata pasta, that pasta Primavera, and I am just going to put it into the bowl. If you want to make it look pretty, kind of twist it a little bit. And that kind of makes a little nest and makes it look real pretty. Oh my goodness, all of these colors. Now, that shredded, or that Parmesan cheese that I showed you, all I did was shred it with my fine grater, and I saved a little bit of that parsley. Not that this needs much more color, but let's take a look. This is what it looks like. Isn't that gorgeous? I cannot wait to tuck into this. It is smelling amazing in here. It smells herby, it smells pasta-y, it smells a little bit garlicky and lemony and all of these amazing flavors. And even though this has a lot of vegetables in it, it's actually pretty cost effective when you get all of these vegetables in season, which right now it is. They're all in season right now. So, and this also does not have meat in it, which makes it more cost effective because proteins are usually what costs the most in your meals. And this is a nice light summer pasta dish that your family can enjoy in the summer or any time of year. So I hope you like this one. I hope your family devours this recipe. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me in my kitchen. I will see you next time. Don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.